All right, so what's going on here is we were under Mr. Sun, under 2014-15 yearbook, under labs, there's a folder called, spread examples. Under spread examples, there are several examples of good layouts that you could use, and we're picking one of them to actually practice InDesign layout. And the one that we chose was this guy here. So if you click on it, if you double click and preview that on Windows Photo Viewer, you get a picture of the spread. And we were working on this yesterday. And I believe, I think this is what we ended up with. I don't know if it, yeah, this is it. This is from this period. I'm gonna save it as Layout Lab period 6. Okay, so that I know how far we are this period, how far we are in the other period. As a recap, really quick, when you're placing pictures, you go to File, Place, or you can use Control D. You put a picture, you can load multiple pictures by holding down Control and clicking different pictures, and then click on Open. Or you can just select one, you load the icon, the pointer, you click and drag, and you can control the size of your picture. Once the picture is placed, you have to remember that manipulating a picture can be done by resizing the frame in which the picture is in. So you can crop the picture. Whenever you use a selection tool and you mouse over into the picture, a disk was going to show up in the middle here. In this area here, if you click and drag on this, you're really dragging the picture that is inside of the frame. But you're not moving the frame. Okay, so you have to be careful with that, because sometimes you may do something like this. You click off of the frame, and now you don't see the picture anymore. And then you try to move this frame to where the picture is, but you never get to it because the picture always stays on the same position. Some ways that you can fix that is you can click inside here and bring it back, and then you get a hold of it. Or you can right click on the frame, choose fitting, and then choose fit frame to content. And that actually moves the frame that used to be here, and it fits the actual image object inside of the frame. Okay? So just be very careful in how you manipulate this. What we did yesterday was we inserted 7 pictures in a page. We also created 2 layers, one for our photos and one for our type. And I remember that I ended up the day with making the observation that I had made a mistake of not moving the type onto the right layer, and I'll do that right now. So have your file open and get ready, because if you did the exact same thing that I was doing, all your frames, all your objects are on the same layer, the blue layer, and you can tell that by looking at the color of the frame outline, and that's blue. It matches this color for the photos layer, which means that these objects are all on the blue layer, but we really want the type to be on the red layer. If you are there, and by the way, just as a quick recap as well, we built this type objects here using 3 frames of text frames, writing conditions in one of them, extreme in another one, and condition under extreme, right?
How'd you get rid of the dots?
For the dots, I cheated. I put a white fill on this guy here, on this box here, and I put it on top. Okay? And that ended up cutting a little bit of the T as well. And I need to move this out this way here. So I want to fill it with white again. And then I'll use under, Control-Alt-C to make the frame fit the content. And I'll put the 2 of them here. So And this guy here, I actually want a transparent background, so no fill. We also talked about fills and outlines and strokes yesterday. But this is, pay attention to my screen here. This is how you actually move stuff from one layer to another. You're going to notice that now I have, I want to select these objects that I have here. The under, the extreme, and the conditions. And when you have objects selected on a layer, you're going to see that this shows this little box here actually becomes active. And the way I move these objects that are selected is by dragging this box here onto the layer that I want to move them to. So that means here, if I want to move these 3 frames of type onto the type layer, the red layer, all I need to do is to select them and click on this box square and drag upwards onto the type layer, and I let go, and you're going to notice that now my objects now have different outlines. These objects under, extreme, and conditions, these text frames have been now moved to the red layer. Okay, so that's how you how you separate things, and you can further verify that by actually hiding the layer. If I hide type, click on the eyeball, only the objects on that layer disappear. Photos layer is still displayed. If I hide the photo layers, everything that is on the blue layer disappears. And if I click on the type layer again to restore visibility, I can see my objects on that layer. Okay, so hiding actually shows you exactly what you have on each layer. We're going to move on now. And going back to our model here, we already have the pictures. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pictures. We have 1, 2, 3 type. And then we're going to do this subtitle here. Students spent their summers doing daring things. So I'm going to go under here. It seems that mine's a little lower. I'll go a little higher to actually allow me to go a little further. It feels to me that I have to be a little further out here, so I'll resize this a little bit to make it a little bigger. I'll lock my bottom photo layer because I want to move these guys here a little bit this way. Okay, so something like that. And now I'm going to work on the type layer to add this. Students spent their summers doing daring things. So I'm going to be using the zoom tool. I'm going to zoom under the conditions here, and I'll add another text frame. And I'll start typing. I want to make sure that this text frame is the same size as the top one. And that way I match it. I click on the type tool. I click inside of it, and I start typing. Students. Let me see what they do. Students spent their summer. Did they capitalize summers? Oh, summers doing daring things. Period. I'll highlight my text. I can be inside of the type on the frame here. I can Control A to select all of it, or I can just click off of it, go to the type tool, and then choose a font that actually translates into this here. Students spend. So I'm gonna say this font here. I can just choose any. I'm gonna go with Mongolian Baiti, whatever. I'll Control Alt C this text frame to make it, and I'll center it along the condition. Or actually, I can just make it the same width, and I'll center the text by going to the paragraph panel, choosing the center type option. Okay, and I press W to verify that I like this, and it's okay. Control Alt 0 to zoom out, and W to take a look at what I have. It looks okay. I maybe make it a little longer, I guess, and so on. So that's what I'm gonna leave. You know, I don't particularly like this, but it's just for mock-up anyways. Okay? I'm going to save my work for now. And let me check what you guys have. Captions always come with a attention getter. This piece of text, A Taste of India, Vietnam Visit. This piece of text is almost like a title to the caption. The caption, you have to think of a caption as a little piece of text, a little paragraph that informs the viewer about what's going on the picture. Okay? So the attention getter is a subject, if you will, and that's going to be in bold, in caps, whereas the rest of the caption is going to be the same, is going to be Arial 8. Okay? So I'm going to start with a caption group over here on the bottom to captionize all these 3 pictures that I have. I'll start a new layer here. No, I'll just leave it on the type layer. So make sure you are on the type layer. And then I'm going to zoom in here on the corner using the zoom tool. And now I'll put in my text frames that are going to hold the captions. I have 2 captions and I want to keep them in 2 separate text frames. So one text frame here, and I'll change I'll type some stuff here, but I'll change this font to Arial size 8. Okay, so you're gonna see that it's quite small. At this point, I'm going to right click on the frame. Okay, you have to have it selected, so make sure you see the handle point anchors. You're going to right click on it. You're going to choose fill with placeholder text. That is going to create all kinds of text in there, just mumbo jumbo. It looks like text, and that's what we're shooting for. I'm going to change this text into I'll keep the first sentence here and I'll make it my attention getter. I'll capitalize the first letter after that. I'll highlight whatever I want to use as attention getter, and I'll I'll make it into all caps. And also, I'll bold it. So your attention getter is going to be all caps, bold. Another thing that I have here is that I have alignment justification both left and right. And right now mine is not like that. So I'll go to my paragraph panel and now justify on both ends. Click on this guy here. Boom. And now this is aligned just as the other one was. Okay. So again, this is a mock-up. So I'm going to Control Alt click and drag this thing here down. You're going to notice that I don't really have enough clearance to fit out both sides. So I'll make one of them a little smaller here. Something like this. So now I have a caption down there. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at our. We did our what do you call this thing here? Our caption. We're gonna have another set over here. The cool thing about InDesign, Control-0 to zoom out onto the spread, is that I can select the objects that I want. I'll Control Alt, click and drag the selected objects, and that creates a copy of them. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay? So I just copied whatever I had under there. This is all pretend anyways, so I will just, I don't want to stretch it, but I'll just make it kind of fit. If I need more text, I'll put in more text. Okay? Boom. So Control Alt, click and drag, that creates copies of whatever. And really quickly, I can mock up something. Now, you're going to notice that on this area here is not the same width, so I'm going to match it up. Okay, this matching edges and stuff in layout work is extremely important. Control-Alt-0 to zoom out to look at what I have, and it looks okay. I want to keep my photo layer locked because I don't want to mess up with it. So I have my 1, 2, 3, 4 captions, 1, 2, 3, 4, with my attention getters in all caps, bolded, and then yes, this is all caps. And the way you do all caps is you select the type, and then you go onto this guy here on the top, the two TTs. Okay, so this is actually all caps and bold. Okay, throughout the whole book, we're going to keep the same style. Arial, size 8 point, and attention getters or subjects for your captions are always going to be bold and all caps. Joel.
I completely forgot what you said about how to do layers again. I completely forgot.
Can you be more specific as what your question is?
Like, how do you apply the layers? I completely forgot.
Apply layers. What does that mean? What do you want to do?
Like, to the text boxes and everything.
Okay, so you want to move the text frames from one place to another? Is that what it is?
No, like the red and the blue. How did you apply it to that?
Okay,
all
yeah.
I'm seeing is blue.
All right, so, okay, so this is what's happening to you here. Okay, so yours is all blue.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so if it's all blue, it means that it's on the same layer.
Right.
Okay, so basically what you want to do with the selection tool, you want to select the elements that you want to move to another layer. When you have something selected, pay attention to this little guy here. This is right now is inactive.
All right.
But if I have something selected, or a collection of things selected, that becomes active. I can now click and drag this guy onto the layer that I want, and in this case I'm dragging up to the red.
Okay.
Let go, and then moves that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So just the conditions in the extreme are.
Under extreme conditions and the subcaption to that.
So they're all the same layer.
They are all on the type layer. If they are words, they need to be in the type layer. Questions, anybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How do you make the text be the same size as the picture?
Can you ask a little louder because I can't hear?
How do you make the text box and the text inside of it to line up with the rest of the picture?
Are you asking about caption text boxes?
Yeah.
All right. So when I moved these guys in here, they were a little different sizes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then basically with the type tool or with the selection tool, I click on the frame where it's holding text, and on this anchor point here, I click and drag. I'm not holding control or anything. I'm just resizing the frame, and then when you get close, it will snap. Okay, you'll snap and you'll know that it's the same size. The snapping is caused by something called smart guides. Let me get even closer if I can show you the snap. You're going to notice that some green lines are going to show up. Go, go, go. Oops.
But like, is it okay if like not all the text is in there? Like,
Is it okay if not the text or not all text is showing?
yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Is it not okay? But in this case here, it's not a big deal yet.
Okay, I just wasn't sure because I thought.
That's fine. So, okay, so we'll work more on type later. Any more questions? Yes, Joe.
Mine's not letting me like. I have the under extreme conditions thing selected, but it's not letting me apply the layer.
Do you have a lock on the layer?
No.
On any of them?
No.
All right. Then I'll come over and check.